remember, change is coming. It's coming at the implosion of our Imperium, and it's coming at the rapid degradation of the ecosystem itself. And there's nothing we can do about it. How can we cope with this change? Will we respond rationally? Will we learn to speak to the world with a new humility and recreate structures within our own communities for sustainability? Or will we continue to live an illusion? I think we're still going to live an illusion. Some form of illusion. Some illusionary message. Some illusionary matters. Welcome to another episode. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. This show is brought to you in part by Monkey with the Computer in association with that AI guy or whatever. Anyways, it's time to get this thing crack-lacking on the lack. All right. Well. Look who it is. It's you. It's you. Y-O-U. Nice to see y'all. Hopefully you are having a great day. Anyways, what's up? Another episode of the best, worst show on the internet. I know you've been waiting all day for this. This is exactly what you wanted. And well, you know what? I'm here to give it to you. I'm here's to give it to you because you know what? We got some big things happening in the world today, my friends. The world has changed. We live in a different country now. I don't know if it's America or I don't know. But what I do know is that the shit finally happened, man. Somebody got indicted and his name's Donald Trump. And oh boy. 34 counts. 34 counts is what they're saying. 34 counts of stuff. And we're going to go over all that today. But as always, before we go anywhere in the show, we got to make sure that we be shouting out all of the peeps out there in the chat and stuff, like my girl CV, much love to you, glad to have you here with us. Oh, that needs to go behind the chat over though. Let me fix that real quick. Fixed. And then we got our good friend Aaron up in the chat. How's it going right there? What's up to Patricia D's moms? Nice to see you out there. How you doing to Miss Christina Carr? Good to see you over there. How's it going to Virginia Olson? Hello to Dwight Zombie over there on Twitch. How's it going to Scroats McGoats? Hola to Senor Cool Cat. How are you doing? And then we got Mr. Beep Bop. How's it going, Beep Bop? How you doing? And no, this isn't John Wayne. How's it going to Akron Fusion? What's going on with you? And what's up to Curtis Carruth? How you guys doing? Shit. Another nice day today, I would have to say. But yes, it's finally happening, my friends. It's finally happening. Donald Trump has been indicted. It's a real thing. But woo! It's time to get into the news, though. Like, seriously, we got to get into the news. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to do a grift, though, too. So, like, obviously, if you like what we do here, make sure you guys go check us out over at griftcast.com so that you can check out all of our fantastic little places so that you can, like, make donations and do all that other good stuff or whatever. It's completely on you and in your own respect to help people out over here, and that's all we're really asking for is a little help. So you know what, you can make Streamlabs donations, PayPal donations, the Cap Ad donation. We got the PayPals, the Venmos, the Cash Apps. Shit, we even got a merch store. You like coffee? We sell coffee and shit too. We got it all. But as always, make sure you go check out our friends over at Coffee Brand Coffee. Use promo code GriftCast, and you're going to save yourself 5% off over at the checkout. And obviously, if you really, really enjoy the show, the things that we do here, consider purchasing yourself some badass merch that says Griftcast on it to show everybody that you not only like getting grifted, but you're a grifter extraordinaire. Definitely something that you could definitely get down with. That's for sure. That's for sure. Make sure you guys go out there, click on that, send us some money, give me some cash. I love the monies. Let's go. Let's go. So, where do we even start with this one today? I think it was, is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Yes. Yes. Lots of different things coming from, like this article from The Nation saying Trump's indictment is a slap on the wrist. The fuck? But accountability has to start somewhere. This isn't the case of our dreams, but Trump very likely committed these crimes and he should be prosecuted for them. Other prosecutions should follow. Yes. Wow. What's this one? Biden laughs at reporters asking if Trump indicted him is politically decisive. Trump indictment details hush money payments to Trump Tower doorman. What? Hush money payments? Yeah. So we actually do have the outline of the indictment. It's 34 criminal charges against the ex-president of the United States. And I mean, is it a banger? I don't know if it's really like a banger. It just kind of seems pretty standard. It's just all for falsifying business records in the first degree in violation of Penal Law 17510 as follows. Interesting. The defendant in the county of New York or elsewhere on about February 14, 2017 with the intent to defraud and the intent to commit to another crime and aid and conceal the commission thereof made the false entry into business records of an enterprise, to wit, an invoice from Michael Cohen dated February 14, 2017, marked as a record of Donald J. Trump revocable trust and kept and maintained by the Trump Organization. Second count? Again, falsifying business records in the first degree on the same day, February 14th, with the intent, blah, 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 something, revocable trust, voucher number 842457, kept and maintained by the Trump Organization. So you're going to see that this thing is just going to be kind of the same thing all over the place, right? Like, I don't get it. I don't get what the hell's going on here, but it seems over and over and over again, we're basically just getting the same falsifying business records thing in the first degree. The only interesting thing here being is that there's voucher numbers associated to it. So like the first count doesn't seem to have a voucher number, but then count 2, voucher number count 3, voucher number count 4, right there you can see. Oh, some of them are voucher numbers. Some of them are check numbers, like check number 000138, kept and maintained by the Trump Organization. Here's another one right here that doesn't even talk about any type of anything or doesn't have any notion of a check or voucher number, but it's still a charge. Here's another one with the voucher number. You'll notice that there's a lot of them with voucher numbers. So first, when I'm looking at this entire thing, it immediately says to me that what we were looking at a couple of days ago when we were actually looking up 17510, the penal law, that was the law in New York State. You can see that we already had looked at it before, but this is what we were actually looking at here, what they're charging Donald Trump with, which is generally a misdemeanor, but can rise to the level of being a Class E felony. Falsifying business records in the first degree is a Class E felony in the state of New York. So that is kind of where we're at. And it seems like every single one of these charges is wholly and fully based upon the New York State Senate, like subsection right here. I didn't see any of them that seem to have gone about anything else. And it's not a very long section. It's literally just that little bit right there. Okay. So just in case you were wondering. So it looks like this is the entire thing here, is that they're not only just going after involvement with the whole Stormy Daniels thing is they're saying now that I guess Donald Trump was paying Michael Cohen back for the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, and it was under the guise of it being for legal work as a retainer. But in actuality, what Michael Cohen is testifying to now is that Donald Trump was paying him back. So that seems to be what we're looking at here. And the 34 counts seem to be an assortment of vouchers and checks that I guess would coincide with the alleged payments from Donald Trump to Michael Cohen, where he said it was for his lawyer retainer, but in actuality, what they're saying it's for was a payback for that actual hush money payment that came out to him. And you can see right here, it's just 12 counts. You know, every single count is exactly the same count, and then there's 3 different versions of it. Sometimes we get a check number, sometimes we get a voucher number, and sometimes we just get a date. But we'll see here, June 16th, May 23rd, May 22nd, May 22nd. So there's a lot of different stuff here, but essentially it kind of feels a little nothing burger-ish because this is just a shit ton of counts. I mean, you know, if they can get away with getting maybe one of these counts, that could be a problem. But then again, it's only a Class E felony, right? So, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in this whole thing. So let's just look up Class E felony in New York City. Class E felony. New York. A Class E felony in New York is the lowest felony charge available and usually associated with serious crimes that did not warrant a higher felony charge. For example, a DWI or DUI case can result in harm to the person or structure. A felony could be applied. So yeah, we got to be real clear about all of these felonies here that we're dealing with Trump, because this is what they're going after. A Class E
felony in New York is the lowest felony charge available and usually associated with serious crimes that did not warrant a higher
Trump needs to
felony
definitely
charge.
come out with a line of non-stick
When,
cooking
for example,
materials.
a DWI or DUI case results in harm being done to a person or structure, a felony could be applied. In this instance, it is usually a Class E felony in New York. Class E felonies can also be theft, assault, forcible touching, or aggravated harassment. A Class E felony New York sentence might be 2 to 5 years in jail, depending upon the circumstances of the case. Our attorneys aggressively pursue a reduction of charges or complete dismissal in all our felony cases, and our statistics speak for themselves. Our NYC felony attorneys.
Interesting. The lowest felony charge available, usually associated with serious crimes that didn't warrant a higher felony charge, like DWI or DUI cases. Interesting. It can also be applied to theft, assault, forcible touching, or aggravated harassment. But there's no mention of it for any type of business classification. That seems kind of strange. That's suspicious, right? Class E felony charge is considered more serious than a misdemeanor charge, and it carries a potentially longer jail sentence. While a Class A misdemeanor carries a sentence up to 364 days, a Class E felony can result in a sentence between 1 and 5 years. So, considering everything that we just looked at, we got to take this in at least a little bit of stride and say, well, kind of seems like, you know, Trump could still receive jail time if he's found guilty of at least one of those charges. And I mean, 34 charges is a lot, but obviously they're only really expecting to get a couple of them, right? So there's a potential here that Trump could be in jail for anywhere from at least 3 years all the way up to fucking a long time. Okay, a long time. That's where we're at. So this is what we're looking at with this huge case, whatever, and it's all for Melvin Bragg, right? He didn't seem to do a whole lot of job, or he didn't seem to do a whole lot with this, but here's the actual statement of facts that was released, and it seems even stranger. It seems much shorter. It's only 13 pages, but I'm sure that we should be able to get this thing to get read through. And it says, defendant Donald Trump repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal criminal conduct that hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election. Hold up. Say what? He was hiding stuff from the fucking voting public? Anyways, from August 2015 to December 2017, the defendant orchestrated a scheme with others to influence the 2016 presidential election by identifying and purchasing negative information about him to suppress its publication from the defendant's electoral prospects. In order to execute the unlawful scheme, the participants violated election laws and made a false entries clauses. Wow, we just got a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. From Harrison Crank, dude. Thanks for the $1 super chat. Appreciate that, dude. Appreciate that. So, yes. Interesting. So, wait a minute. It's for more than the Stormy Daniels shit. So wait a minute. Are they literally fucking accusing Donald Trump right now of concealing criminal conduct that hid damaging information from the voting public? Huh? Are they literally trying to re-adjudicate 2016 again? Like, that's what they're trying to do? The same 2016 where Hillary Clinton paid for opposition research that smeared Donald Trump as being a Russian, like, bot or whatever, and that was completely untrue? Jesus fucking Christ, man. This is fucking horrible. This is ridiculous. One component of the scheme is that defendants request a lawyer who then worked for the Trump Organization as a special counsel to the defendant. Lawyer A, Michael Cohen, or Lawyer A, Michael A. Cohen, covertly paid $130,000 to adult film actress shortly before the election to prevent her publicizing a sexual encounter with the defendant. Even though it's already been said and found out in court that Stormy Daniels has to pay Donald Trump $500,000 for making up a fake sexual event and then, you know, getting sued and shit for it, right? Isn't that what would happen? I'm pretty sure that that's like something that happened. Let's see. Hold up. Stormy Daniels. Could have swore I just saw some news on that today. Yeah. Didn't I? Wasn't there just supposed to be some news today? Oh, yeah. Right there. Trump awarded nearly $122,000 in attorney fees from Stormy Daniels. Oh, the award came hours after Trump pleaded guilty after being charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree.
News chief political analyst
Brit
Hume.
Oh, congratulations, President Trump, says Harvey Dillon. Let's take a look at this right here. Oh, yeah, look at that. Ninth Circuit Appeals, New York. The court awarded attorney fees to appellee Donald J. Trump under the Texas Citizens Participation Act. Trump requests $121,000 in fees for 183 hours worked. Wow. This is some wow shit, dude. The walls are closing in. Damn, dude. Thanks to Riddick Fusion for the, what's it called, $5 super chat. Says the walls are closing in and are made of that cheap 1970s paneling. Yeah, I agree with that. That's definitely what the fuck's happening here. Faux show. And thanks you for the generous super chat right there, Acrid Fusion. We appreciate you. We also got another one from Scroats with Goats for $5. Says, need to get someone in Arizona to charge Obama with murder for killing that 16-year-old with the drone strike. What? I guess we could try to get that done. Or whatever, super chat guy. And then we got Metal Monster PDX for $5 that says, I want to see how Cohen build all of this. There needs to be evidence that money was actually for the payoff. Yes, that's exactly what I want to see too. Because there ain't no way that I'm going to believe Michael fucking Cohen from, you know, the front end of it. Right? But yeah. So, like, on one end, Donald Trump already won this case, but now the New York DA is trying to reinvent the wheel with this case and bring up all this other stuff, even though we already knew that the whole Stormy Daniels situation is completely a farcical endeavor. Yet that farcical endeavor, once again, rears its ugly head in some legal documents. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird how that shit happens, right? Like, these lawyers are pieces of shit. Never trust a fucking lawyer. If you watch lawyers on YouTube or whatever, I honestly just do one of these and pray for you, because they don't care about you. They really don't. I care about you. I care about you. So, are we looking at flat out liars here? I think so. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of in this whole entire situation. After the election, defendant reimbursed lawyer A, Michael Cohen, for an illegal payment through a series of monthly checks, first from Donald Trump's revocable trust, then from the defendant's bank account. Each check was processed by the Trump Organization, and each check was disguised as a payment for legal services rendered in a given month of 2017 pursuant to a retainer agreement. The payment records kept and maintained by the Trump Organization were false New York business records. In truth, there was no retainer agreement, and lawyer A was not being paid for legal services rendered in 2017. The defendant caused his entity's business records to be falsified to disguise his and others' criminal conduct. Hold up. Whoa. What? How could you say that? You don't have any evidence of that. Hey, number one, Michael Cohen was definitely Trump's lawyer, and if they said that they were getting paid on a retainer agreement, then that means that there's probably a retainer agreement that exists, right? Just because Michael Cohen says that the retainer agreement doesn't exist doesn't mean that Donald Trump and his organization don't already have something on the books that could basically squash that. But what they're saying very clearly here is that Donald Trump was not paying Michael Cohen on a retainer, and the money that he was paying to Michael Cohen was actually reimbursement for the Stormy Daniels payment, and that's what's happening here. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, dude. This is just absolutely ridiculous. This is crazy, dude. This is absolutely fucking insane. This is insane. The defendant is the beneficial owner of a collection of business known by the trade name Trump Organization. The Trump Organization. So, wait a minute. He's just giving the background on this one. So, yeah, here we go. The scheme to catch and kill scheme to suppress negative information. During the furtherance of his candidacy for president, the defendant and others agreed to identify and suppress negative stories about him. That's not fucking illegal! Two parties to this agreement have admitted to committing illegal conduct in connection with this scheme. What? Which parties have admitted to doing illegal conduct in this scheme? The only person that ever admitted to doing anything illegal was Michael Cohen, and that didn't actually have anything to do with Trump. That was Michael Cohen's own fault, wasn't it? Because he lied? Right. I forgot. In August of 2018, Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to 2 federal crimes involving illegal campaign contributions, subsequently served time in prison. In addition, in August of 2018, American Media Inc., AMI media company that owned and published magazines and supermarket tabloids, including the National Enquirer, admitted in a non-prosecution agreement that it made a payment to a source of the story to ensure that the source did not publish damaging allegations about the defendant before the 2016 presidential election and thereby influence the election. So wait a minute. You're not allowed to pay money to have people not say information anymore? I thought that was totally fine or whatever. I guess it's not fine. I guess it's just all on their own, isn't it? Yeah, it is on their own. So, no matter what, look at that. We have the Trump Tower meeting once again. We got a suppressing the doorman story. So they're literally saying that because Donald Trump didn't let all this information that we didn't know out about back then out during the election, he was trying to suppress and influence the election with that stuff, and he's an election denier, right? That's basically kind of like what we're looking at. So they're talking about him suppressing different people's accounts, access Hollywood tapes, all this stuff all the way back from when he was basically trying to run. That's what this is all about, dude. The first charges are in February of 2017, but Trump handed the businesses over freaking Eric Trump in 2016 in November. So like, where's the evidence of a payoff? Where's the evidence that anything negative? Where's the evidence of anything, right? Like the evidence needs to be bared by the DA's office. The DA has to be able to come up with all of these stuff. And then the defense has to defend against them. And right now, it doesn't seem like they have much of a defense, or it doesn't seem like they have much of a prosecution here. Subsequently, I mean, it says right here, $35,000 for legal fees, services rendered in a given month of 2017 pursuant to a retainer agreement. And then it says right here, at no point did lawyer A have a retainer agreement with defendant or the Trump organization. So who's lying here? This seems to be wholly and fully associated to Michael Cohen's retelling of the story. And at one point, Michael Cohen was Trump's head fixer, but he was working as Trump's head fixer, and Trump was paying him $35,000 a month, but there was no retainer agreement associated with it. Doesn't make sense. The other thing here to just note would be, like, if I pull up the calculator right here and I say $35,000 over 12 months, that's $420,000, which is, you know, last time I checked, about $290,000 away from what he paid. So if he was actually paying this for other services, he seems to have overpaid quite absorbently for said services, considering that it was only $130K. So like, if it was $140,000, and then that should have only really have taken 4 payments, right? 4 payments. It should have been 4 payments of $35,000 that they have evidence for. But allegedly, they have 34 different instances within this indictment that says that they did a whole lot more, right? So already, like, money-wise, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Even if it was February, March, April, May, that would have been 4 months right there to pay him off. And then he would have had no reason to keep paying them, right? He would have had no reason. But then again, wait, pursuant to the retainer agreement, kindly remit payment for services rendered in the months of January, February. The invoice requested payment in the amount of $35,000 for those 2 months. So was it in 34 installments? 50 installments? I don't understand. Lawyer A submitted 10 similar monthly invoices by mail to the Trump organization for the remaining months. So yes, that would mean that our first number is correct, right? So that means that Donald Trump would have had to have paid Michael Cohen $420,000 for his services. Now, that makes sense if you're retaining a lawyer, and that makes sense for a lawyer retainment fee. But then again, if we're subtracting the amount of payment, if we're subtracting the payment that's actually, you can't divide by 0. So if we're subtracting the payment that Michael Cohen actually paid out to Stormy Daniels, I mean, seriously, where the fuck is the rest of this? And then, like, can I get Bill Clinton's opinion on this one? Because the last time I checked, didn't Bill Clinton pay $820,000 to Paula something or other, Paula Davis, Paula Starr, something like that? I can't remember what her fucking name was. But didn't he pay somebody off like that too? Nobody did anything crazy? The TO controller forwarded an invoice to TO accounts payable consistent with the TO controller's initial instructions, blah, 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 blah. They stamped it out with a general ledger code for 51505 for legal expensive. Trump organization maintained invoices as records as the expenses being paid. As instructed, TO accounts payable supervisor recorded each payment in the Trump organization's electronic account system, falsely describing it as legal expenses pursuant to the retainer agreement for the month of 2017. The Trump organization maintained the digital entry in each expense called a voucher, and these vouchers, like vouchers for other expenses, became part of the Trump organization's general ledgers. To accounts payable supervisor then prepared checks with the attached check stubs to approve the signature. The first check was paid for the defendant's trust and signed to TO CFO and then defendant's son as trustees. The check stub falsely recorded the payment as retainer for 11 to 131.17 and retainer for 121 to 228.17, and the second check for March 2017 was also paid from the trust and signed by two trustees. The check stub falsely recorded the payment as retainer. So, what the fuck is happening right now? So, like, they're saying that these payments for retainers to Michael Cohen are not payments to retainers for Michael Cohen, because all of a sudden Michael Cohen is saying, I didn't have a retainer agreement with Donald Trump's organization. There's no evidence of that. Even though inside this, there's evidence of it. So is it a typo? Is it wrong? Oh, Paula Jones. Okay, it was Paula Jones. Got it. Paula Jones. The defendant's bank account then sent along a corresponding invoices to Michael Cohen for the Trump organization in New York County and the defendant in Washington, D.C. The check stubs bearing the false statements were stapled to invoices also bearing false statements. The defendant signed each of the checks personally and had them sent back to Trump organization and New York County. There, the checks and stubs and invoices were scanned and made taped into the Trump organization's data system before the checks themselves were detached and mailed to the lawyer A for payment. The $35,000 payment stopped after December of 2017. Investigation into lawyer A after the defendant's pressure campaign. April 9, 2018, the FBI executed a search warrant on Michael Cohen's residence and office. In the months followed, the defendant and others engaged in a public and private pressure campaign to ensure that Michael Cohen didn't cooperate with law enforcement in the federal investigations. So basically, they're lining it up for us really nicely. They're telling us that basically they're misrepresenting the Donald Trump payments to the lawyer, Michael Cohen, for the services rendered under a retainer agreement. They're saying that there's no retainer agreement, and all that's a fake, all that's completely fake and false, and all those payments that they wrote shit down on are actually false, and it was for something completely different, and they were lying about it. So that's why they're getting them. This is what they're going after Donald Trump for. So, like, this is the weakest, stupidest thing that I think that DA Alvin Bragg could have ever done in a situation, but for them, it's a kangaroo court, right? They already know that they have it locked into the bag. So ultimately, their goal here is to try to get at least something to stick on them so that they could possibly get Trump in jail so that he can't run. Like, that's exactly what we're looking at here. I mean, they're just trying to kill this dude through the appeals process because they know that he's going to be able to appeal anything that they put down, and eventually it's going to become a huge problem. And at the same time, the attorney-client privilege died in the Sussman trial. That's right. That's right. So, where are we supposed to go now? This isn't anything, but let's see. Lawyer C emailed Lawyer A a news clip discussing the possibility of Lawyer A cooperating and continue to urge him not to cooperate with law enforcement. And he says, the whole objective of this exercise by federal prosecutors is to drain you emotionally, financially, until you reach the point that you only see them as their only means to salvation. In the same email, Lawyer C wrote, you're making a very big mistake if you believe the stories these journalists are writing about you. They want you to cave. They want you to fail. They don't want you to preserve and succeed. Lawyer A pleaded guilty in a federal investigation. On the next day, on August 27, 2018, the defendant commented on Twitter, if anyone's looking for a good lawyer, I would strongly suggest that you don't retain the services of Michael A. Cohen. Later that day, the defendant posted on Twitter again saying, I feel very bad for one of his former campaign managers who was criminally charged, saying, unlike Lawyer A, he refused to speak, make up stories in order to get a deal. Yeah. So, Michael Cohen's making up new stories with the involvement of federal prosecutors and stuff, and it's pretty plain to see that this shit is not going to be going anywhere other than, you know, where it should be going is the circle file. Like, I can't believe that this is actually what Alvin Bragg decided that he was going to make the whole entire schlemiel about. It is. Like, this is it. And then it says, the defendant's direction, on or about the summer of 2016, in coordination with and at the direction of the candidate for federal office, I and the CEO of a media company, at the request of a candidate, work together to keep an individual with information that would be harmful to the candidate and to the campaign from publicly disclosing this information. After a number of discussions, we eventually accomplished the goal by the media company entering into a contract with the individual under which she was compensated $150,000, which isn't illegal. I just participated in the contract on which my part took place in Manhattan for principal purposes of influencing the election. So they're saying that by keeping this bad negative information that was fake and proven to be fake off of the radar, they were influencing the election by stopping people from being able to influence the election. Tight. Michael Cohen also pled guilty to a felony in connection to his payoff of a woman to secure silence against the defendant's direction. Laura A. admitted to his part on the guilty plea. On or about October 2016, in coordination at the direction of the same candidate, I arranged to make a payment to a second individual with information that would be harmful to the candidate to keep the individual from disclosing the information. To accomplish this, I used the company under which I controlled to make a payment in the sum of $130,000. The monies that I advanced through my companies were later repaid to me by the candidate. I participated in this conduct into which my part took place in Manhattan for the principal purposes of influencing the election. And then you can see here that this is set up. This whole thing has been set up since 2018, right? We've all known that Donald Trump isn't a choir boy, right? We've all known that Donald Trump isn't the guy that is going to do the sacrifice play. You know, we know that he's dirty, but this is a thing that's been getting set up since they originally got Michael Cohen to cooperate in the first place, right? They went after Michael Cohen. They were going to throw the book at him. They were hitting him with him being in prison for a really long time. So what's really happening here is back then in 2018, the entire Trump organization was like, dude, if you fucking rat on us, you're the biggest piece of shit out there. You're going to ruin your own life because we're not going to help you. And then those people are just going to use you and shit on you. And you're going to end up one of those old, sad Jewish guys at a bar that nobody even wants to talk to. Yeah. This is insidious, right? So he's been working with the feds in New York. Michael Cohen has been since he got arrested, went to jail, and then they brought him back in. And it's basically the plea agreement that he originally copped to in the first place, where he's like, yeah, I'm going to do a little time, and then we're going to come back, and we're basically going to lie about Donald Trump, because he's already proven himself to be a very proficient liar, right? And now they're going to use him for that same proficiency, and then they're going to throw him to the wolves. And that's kind of like what they're doing now. I mean, it's a very weak case. Seems pretty fucking weak, right? Until we actually start seeing the actual documents and all of these other things that they claim that they have. I mean, sure, we can look at checks and checks and checks and checks and checks. We can see business records and stuff, but what's going to stop Donald Trump and his individuals from actually providing an actual retainer agreement? Anything? Anything? But, you know, Joe Biden and his son, it's a completely different story, isn't it? Right? There was many reasons that people passed on this case, going from the DOJ, special counsels, the last DA in the area. The entire reasoning is because is that this is an unwinnable case. This is an untenable case. This is literally just political theater at the end of the day. And they're utilizing one of the rattiest rats out there. And you know what? It would be cool to have gotten in better with guys like Bo Dietl and all of these boys, the big strong Republicans, the Glen Eagles Country Club motherfuckers of the world. But they don't like me too much anymore because I saw right through them and their inability to do anything. Sure, you bitches got lots of money, but what if I told you before? Oh, right. When you can make money or when you can create money, it doesn't really matter about making it, does it? No, it doesn't. So where do we go? How is this thing going to shake out? It's not going to shake out, dude. It just told us today that legal rule of order is dead.
About today. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the insufficiency of this case. And I will say this to you. Today's unsealing of this indictment shows that the rule of law died in this country. Because while everyone is not above the law, no one's below it either. And if this man's name was not Donald J. Trump, there is no scenario we'd all be here today. Please understand that based on these charges.
What are we going to get tonight when he speaks?
When?
Tonight.
8 o'clock.
Tonight, 8 o'clock.
I don't know. You'll hear it.
You should tune in and you'll hear it.
About today. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the insufficiency of.
That's Donald Trump's lawyer talking about the insufficiency of the legal case around it involving this thing. And this is his new lawyer seriously going in to take the hurt onto Michael Cohen, because Michael Cohen's the guy that totally just obliterated any type of credibility that he had left.
Saying that this is really all about foreign policy, that Donald Trump bucked the system, was too big of a disruptor when it came to foreign policy, and that's why he's still the target of so much ire in Washington, D.C.'s establishment. What do you say to that?
I think that's probably certainly a contributor to it, but I also think that this is something that shouldn't be surprising to any of us. This is something that the Democrat establishment has been doing, weaponizing and politicizing our government.
Look at that
our law
fucking
enforcement
number go up.
against Donald Trump, even when he was a candidate in 2016,
Look
before he
at
was
that
even elected
fucking
president.
number
So
go up.
this is just the latest.
Did you see that go up from 1 to 3,000 as I was watching it? That's nuts. Let's refresh it again. It's not live though yet. We'll leave that in the
Serious
background.
escalation of that weaponization coming from a Democrat establishment that doesn't believe in the Constitution. They don't care about the rule of law, and their only interest is how do they advance their own political interests, and the influence of the military-industrial complex is strong, not only in the Democrat establishment, but also in the Republican establishment as well.
So many good things. Here we go. Here's CNN talking about the indictment, calling it underwhelming.
This may be or may not be your reaction now that you've had a chance to go through it. Is it what you thought it was going to be, and are you unimpressed?
It is what I thought it was going to be in terms of focusing on the payments that were made, the falsification of the records, and really tied to the payment that was made to Stormy Daniels. In terms of a case that's being brought against a former president, it's a little underwhelming. There's not more to it. There's not more violations, tax violations. There's
It's
not
all
an
about the
incredible
venue.
new set of facts that we didn't know about publicly. It's really the facts of this case as they have existed for basically almost 7 years.
And this may be or may not be your reaction now that you've had a chance to go through it. Is it what you thought it was going to be, and are you unimpressed?
Yeah, are you unimpressed? I'm unimpressed. Let's see. And remember, what is this? The petitioner's cause accrues March 5th, 2020, and the court ruled that 1 year statute of limitations told by the executive order until this, when the remaining 350 days on the limitation period began to expire from anew the bell tolls. Oh, so I'm reading that because the statute of limitation for this charge is only 5 years. But apparently they're utilizing some sort of COVID thing to try to prosecute him after the fact on this one. So on top of the fact that the statute of limitations is over on the case, based on the actual law, they're utilizing the COVID incidentship policy to go after him in this particular way. It's fucked up, man. Shit's fucked up, bro. Super, super messed up. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele on the Trump indictment. Imagine if this happened in any other country where a government arrested the main opposition candidate. The United States' ability to use democracy as a foreign policy is gone. Yep. Because that's exactly what's happening. Joe Biden wants to make sure that he wins the next election. And he's literally trying to put his opponent into prison before that happens. That only happens in communist countries, folks. That never happens in America. See, I don't go to protests like this because, like, I would just get angry. And then, you know, since, like, you know, I'm a superhuman or whatever, you know, I have stronger bones. I'm like 10 times stronger than a regular individual or whatever. I would just start fucking cracking heads if they didn't leave me alone. Like, I would have taken that belt and shoved it up that dude's ass. That dude that's holding his little sign right there, I would have punched through the sign, leaving a little like paper hole punch of my fist right into his fucking jaw and just knocked him out. And then this guy right here, this dude right here, I would have punched him so hard that his glasses would have exploded and he would have lost his eye. And then the dude with the umbrella right there, I would have taken that umbrella and then I would have grabbed his little pecker and shoved it down the little pee hole or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just pisses me off. That's why I don't go to these protests, okay? Because I would get pissed off, right? And then, you know, there would be like 100 people that I would just beat the shit out of because I can't, just because I could.
I'm not going to be bullied by these people anymore. I came here to report on my job. So, that's exactly
Like, I mean, I guess I could go and defend her, but then I would end up in jail, right? I would end up in jail. No, you know what would happen? It would be me versus the NYPD, and then I would just have to end up flying out of that bitch because, you know, I wouldn't want to hurt any of them. Wow. You gotta believe that. You gotta believe me, dude. These guys are just crazy, dude. They're crazy people. And that's what's happening during Donald Trump being indicted. Now, what? Here's Jesse Waters.
Rock through your neighbor's window, jack a car. The victim's obvious. We've been hearing about this Trump indictment for weeks. Last Thursday was official. And
yeah, who's the victim?
The president will have his mugshot snapped. There's been a lot of talk, but so far, we haven't heard a peep about who the victim is. If Trump's the criminal Democrats are making him out to be, who got hurt? Primetime can't find a single victim here. It doesn't look like anybody was physically injured.
Wait, they can't find a victim?
The IRS was cheated. Where's the crime? A lawyer paid a woman and a business reimbursed the lawyer? That's it?
Yep, that's a crime.
Filed the payment as a
huge crime!
They
were influencing the election!
But calling a payment to a lawyer a legal expense instead of a legal reimbursement is worse than murder here in New York. Never, ever put your payments in the wrong ledger. Brad calls that falsifying business records a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor that could be made into a felony, a Class E felony.
Since when did Democrats become sticklers for bookkeeping? By the way, what ledger did Hunter file his Chinese diamond under?
Yeah, was it
the diamond that went missing?
The Chinese diamond?
The Bidens took millions from China before an election, lied about it, didn't pay taxes on it. That seems a little worse.
It does.
The Trump organization isn't even publicly traded, and no campaign funds were used.
What? Really?
What was Trump supposed to do? Write a giant sweepstakes-sized check and hand it to Stormy in Times Square? Trump's a...
Yeah, that would have helped them. That would help them a lot there, Jesse Waters. Okay, cool. And what's this? And there it is.
We just have to demonstrate that he will not take power by, if he does run, making sure he, under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, does not become the next president again. We just have to demonstrate that he will not take power by, if he does run, making sure he, under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, does not become the next president again.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to use legitimate legal tactics with illegitimate information to make it so that the dude can't run again. But it ain't gonna work, dog. Like, they've already showed us that we don't live in America anymore. The Constitution is meaningless and worthless to these people. So what comes next, right? Revolution? Maybe. I don't know.
Make one. Come on, make one. Make one.
I don't know.
So why are you running, man? Excuse me. Not running, Jared. You sure you're not running?
I'm not running, dude.
Indictment.
Well, speaking as someone who very strongly does not want Donald Trump to get the Republican presidential nomination, I'm extraordinarily distressed by this document. I think this is even weaker than I feared it would be. And I think it's easily subject to being dismissed or a quick acquittal for Trump. Just speaking, going back to the days when I represented Jim Buckley and Gene McCarthy and the constitutional challenge to the underlying federal statute here passed in 1974, I can say there is no basis in the statutory language to say that Trump's behavior forms either a contribution or...
Oh, wow. We just got ourselves a super chat. Thanks, Philly, for the $9.99 through the super chat. We appreciate you for that generous donation. If you got a message for us, let us know. Let us know. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
Or an expenditure under federal law, the two key definitions at issue here. If it did, it would mean that every single expenditure a candidate made could be taken to have something to do with his campaign. Do I buy a $1 comb to comb my hair or a $10 comb to comb my hair? If you can construe the statute to cover this behavior, then I think it violates the First Amendment because you're deeply into territory that makes this statute absolutely, federal statute, too vague for enforcement. And as what I understood the district attorney to say that he thinks there's a New York election law involved here, all I can say is the Federal Election Campaign Act absolutely preempts any state or local law to the contrary. How could it be otherwise? You've got one law governing corporate finance in a presidential election at the federal level. You're going to have 50 state laws interfering with it. So he's just wrong on the applicability of the New York statute.
Wow. John Bolton, not a fan of Trump, literally says, yeah, sorry, but it's a bunch of bullshit, and he can't go against the federal statute and enact his own statute. I mean, he can try, but he's basically just making himself look like a fucking clown. Wow, let's see.
There's a saying in the military, different rank, different spank. And there are two tiers of justice in this country.
Been way too long.
You can't tell me who the victim is. Who is the victim of this so-called crime? You can't say it. As far as we know, what the
who's the victim? The American people
is that he
are
put
the victim.
The payment to the lawyer in the wrong column. He put it in a different ledger. So the lawyer took out a loan to pay off Stormy, and Trump reimbursed the lawyer. So that went in as a legal reimbursement. No, it went in as legal expense. It's a bookkeeping charge. This isn't a publicly traded company. There's no victim here. This goes afterwards into the filing cabinet, and that's it. And they're saying that because he didn't put this down as a campaign expense, then
I'm not feeling very victimized right now.
That's
at all.
Bull, and everybody knows it. All of a sudden,
I'm feeling pretty victimized by D.A. Bragg, though. Feel victimized by that, motherfucker.
Did Hunter put the diamond he got from China in? The Biden family took money from China, didn't pay taxes on it. What about all the missing billions of dollars from Afghanistan? Gone. No one cares. There's no criminality there, right? But Trump pays somebody, and they're looking at what ledger he put that down in.
Yeah, what ledger?
HSBC, the bank. settled for billions in fines for money laundering cartel cash. They didn't put anybody in prison. They didn't criminally charge any of the bankers for that, or they didn't criminally charge any of the bankers that crashed the economy in 2008.
Nope,
Manhattan
they
DA
did
just
it.
sat there and went like that. But they're looking at this. This is crazy.
Crazy.
Bragg is the one that committed the felony.
Crazy.
Judge knows this right here. It is a felony, unlawful grand jury disclosure. How do we know what's in this indictment? How does CNN know this? Because someone in the Manhattan DA's office leaked this. That's a felony.
That's a felony.
Unless CNN is on the jury. And we know that's not true. So we have a case shut right there. Bragg is a felon. And he's trying to make a career for himself over this. And Bragg has interfered in this election more than Russia has or China has combined.
Wow, Jesse Waters really dropping the knowledge there, but that's pretty much it. It's a victimless crime. It's a victimless crime.
President Trump.
John Voight?
An indictment. This cruel intention. This lie. We must not forget Clinton's true affair and that they never caused this cruelty on any other president before. My fellow Americans, remember the walls of Jericho? Truth shall prevail. The 45th President of the United States shall save this nation from the barbaric left insanity, and we, the people, shall help with our truths and prayers. Let us all put faith back and remember the greatest president, Donald J. Trump, 2024. He and only he will build this land back to her beauty, where she will stand proud and she will hold the torch up for freedom, freedom of the people, freedom of our greatest achievement of red, white, and blue, the gift of what and who we are, the American dream.
The American dream. Yeah, I don't know, man. That American dream doesn't feel like it exists anymore. So where do we go, folks? Well, Trump's indicted. That's where we go. Trump's indicted. We know the details. We know the facts. We know the counts. We know the laws. We know the history. What else could we say? I don't know. I don't know what we could say. I don't know if there's anything that we could say or do in this particular situation. As I peer within my mind's eye at the future, here everything seems dark. Very dark. Almost like a shadow is being cast over the future of this situation. It makes me feel like dark machinations are afoot. Witless warriors and warlocks and witches clouding the future. That's when you know that the dark side really has a hold on everything. And that's the way that I see this situation, is that it's like the dark side. It's that evil presence just ever present in everyday life. And you see it more and more and more. And now you're just watching it unfold. And it's sad. Sad. We deserve a lot better as a country, I think. We definitely do. We've deserved a lot better for a while. And this is where we're going, man. I guess now we just have to kind of see where this indictment thing goes, because this is going to be the news cycle for the next 2 weeks at least. Probably the next couple of months. Maybe even the next 2 years. So, think about it. Are you feeling empty and black-pilled today? Are you feeling victimized? Do you feel psychologically abused? Well, that's probably because you are. I think we all are at this point. Honestly, the only thing that we're a victim of is our current government. I guess that's it for today. Trump's indicted. It happened. Everything's different now. Everything feels different, smells different, speaks different, talks different. You even have to act different. And if you don't see that just yet, you will. Oh, yes, you will. Because if not, you're going to be in the fight of your life. And I think most people right now aren't ready to be fighting. So, thanks for joining us. Thanks to each and every single one of those folks that, threw us a little bit of cashola on the Griftola. We appreciate y'all. Thank you to Filey. Thanks to Metal Monster PDX, Gross McGoats, Eritic Fusion, and Harrison Craig for dropping off a little bit of money over into my pocket. We appreciate you. Other than that, we're done here for today. So we'll see you again on the next one. Adios. Much love. Bye. Have a good one. Be well out there. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Or, do whatever you want to do. That's fine. You can just do whatever you want to do. Buy 44 people on Rumble. Buy 49 people on YouTube. Buy that one person over there on Twitch. Buy that one person on Kick. Adios, my amigos.